Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your boy Shaheener coming back at you with another tier list video. And so for this one, we are going to be talking about Generation 5, which I feel like I've been talking about a lot with the past two episodes of Pokemon Battlers, which if you want to check those out, the link is going to be somewhere up here. But yeah, so we are talking about more Generation 5, which started with Pokemon Black and White on the Nintendo DS. And so this, as I mentioned in those previous episodes, was kind of like a rebirth almost of like the Pokemon like playthrough like franchise kind of thing. And so you would basically have a full list of Pokemon, like a full 156 Pokemon. It's the most Pokemon introduced in a single generation. And also since then there have been some regional forms added. I don't remember if there's any Mega Evolutions. I don't think that there are, but I could be easily mistaken. I honestly can't remember. But yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon, a lot of Legendaries, and one of my favorite Pokemon of all time show up in this list, or in this generation, let's say. So before we get started, of course, gotta crack open a cold one for the boys. So shout out to my squad. Oh yeah. The first Pokemon on Generation 5 isn't your starter Pokemon, which was very weird. I don't know why they decided to do it like this, but yeah, the first Pokemon is actually the Mythical Victini, which would be comparable like Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, Manaphy, Melowetta. So yeah, Victini was the first Pokemon on the Pokédex for Unova, and I think it's fine. Fire Psychic is really cool typing. You wouldn't see that again until Delphox in Generation 6. But compared to the other Mythicals, it's probably one of my least favorites, honestly. Like, I mean, I think I like it a little bit more than Manaphy, but even then, that's just a small margin. I'll probably put Victini into... I'll probably put Victini in the B tier. Okay, and so now we've gotten into the starters already, of course. So, we have the... Freaking dog! We are shown the starters now. So we have the line of Snivy, we have the Tepig line, and we have the Oshawott line. Which, by the way, Piplup is better! So, yeah, first thing is the Snivy line, which, I mean, if you guys caught up with, like, if you were there for, like, the early introduction or reveal of the starter Pokemon, the fans called Snivy Smugleaf. And so, that's pretty much the reason why I started with it. Also, I think it looked the coolest between like the first stage ones, and this was the first time since I think I want to say the first time ever that I started with the grass type of my first playthrough. Yeah, this is the very first time. I always ended up picking the fire or the water starters, but never grass type. So yeah, I love Snivy's design. I'd probably, but it's not like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. But Snivy in the A tier. Servine, I kind of forget exists. I'll probably put Servine into C tier. It's just a whatever Pokemon to me. Serperior, I loved. I really, really loved the design of Serperior. But its stats suck. It kind of is a sucky Pokemon. I really struggled having it on my team. But, as you guys know, I don't let go of my starters ever, so I always keep it in the team. So for looks alone, I'd probably put it into S tier, but with its just weak stats, I'd probably just keep it in A tier with Snivy. Okay, so we are in the fire line of starters. So we have Tepig, Pignite, and Emboar. And I thought Tepig was, sure, it was cool. I mean, Fire Bacon is what people called it, but yeah, it didn't blow me away. It just was Fire Bacon. I'd probably put Tepig into... I'd probably put it into B tier, though. Pignite, I like it a little bit more than Servine, but it still is just in that weird, awkward, like, second stage phase, so I'd probably put it into C tier as well. Emboar, I'm, like... Jesus Christ. I mean, it's a cool design, but, my god... Why do they keep on doing fire fighting starters 3 generations in a row? They had Blaziken, they had Infernape, and they had Emboar. It was all firefighting. It was getting really, really annoying, and that was pretty much just the flat-out reason why I never used Emboar, was because of its typing. Like, not like it's a bad typing, it's just an overused one. So I probably put Emboar into... I probably put it into B tier. Okay, Waterline. Oshawott, Dewott, and Samurott. Oshawott, I really, really do like Oshawott. Don't get me wrong. I mean, as much as I will get on my friend Bono's case about Piplup being better than Oshawott, which, by the way, it is. I still had a soft spot for Oshawott. I mean, it was still enjoyable in the anime, but it's just marred by how good Piplup was. No, but I'll put Oshawott in the A tier. I really like it. Dewott was better than the other middle stage starters. It was better than Servine. It was better than Pignite. I'd probably just put it into B tier. It was definitely the best one. It's definitely the standout. Then we get to Samurott, and also Hisuian Samurott. So with those ones, basically Samurott is just regular water type, just pure water type, and Hisuian Samurott is water dark type. Because they seem to be going on a trend lately where it's like, they'll have the primary types, like, in the rock, paper, scissors, like, water's good against fire, fire's good against grass, grass is good against water. But now they're also doing psychic, fighting, and dark, which they showed us with the Galarian legendary birds, and now they're showing us with the starters in Legends Arceus, where it's, like, the dark psychic fight. You get it. But, yeah, I do like Samurott. I definitely like it better than Emboar. I don't think I like it much more than Superior, but it was definitely the better Pokemon to use. It was definitely better than Superior in terms of battling. I'd probably put it in A tier. And Hisuian Samurott, I think, was the least offensive compared to its other Hisuian starter Pokemon counterparts. I would probably put Hisuian Samurott. Honestly, it was probably the same thing. Probably. Actually, no, I'd put it into B tier. I like Unova Samurott a little bit more. Okay, so now we've gotten to our rats of the generation. We have Patrat and we have Watchog, which I really am just whatever about them compared to the other rats that they've shown us. It's probably my least favorite. I don't think I ever had a use for them or ever used them. I don't think I'd ever want to use them. But they're whatever. I would probably put Patrat in D tier. Watchog I'd probably put in a D tier as well. They're just, eh. Okay, and now we have a 3-stage normal typing. So it's more normal types right now. So we have Lillipup, we have Herdier, and we have Stoutland. Yeah, Stoutland. Totally forgot that one. Anyways, Lillipup's cute. Although pure normal types, as you guys know, aren't my thing. So I never used it. I guess I'll put Lillipup in a C tier. Herdier, I'd probably put in the D tier. Stoutland, I'd probably put in the D tier as well. It's just whatever. Okay. So, now we are at Purloin and Liepard, which are basically our versions of Meowth for this generation. So, that's how I feel about them. I don't care for either of them. They, again, did nothing for me. D tier for both of them. Here's something where it's a little bit more interesting in Generation 5, is that there are 3 sets of evolutions that are all... They're all different typing of water, fire, grass. And they all kind of look very similar, at least in terms of like the basic design of it being monkeys. And at least in the lore of Unova, that these were the original starter Pokemon, which were Pansage and Simisage, Pansear and Simisear, and Panpour and Simipour, which they all share the Pan and Simi naming. They were the Pokemon that you'd battle against in the first gym on Black and White against Silent, Chili, and Cress. And you were given one of the monkeys as well. You were given one of them around that time. I believe it was... They would give you the Pokemon where the typing is weaker to your starter, if I remember correctly. Out of all of them, I'd probably say Pansage is my favorite out of all of them. Just in general, like, of the Pans and Simis, I'd say that Pansage is my favorite. I'd probably put Pansage in A tier. I think it's probably because of the anime. Like, I was still watching the anime at that point. Like, it was very shortly within the Black and White series that I stopped watching. But Pansage was my favorite. And Simisage was okay. I'd probably put it into B tier. Its hair is a little bit interesting. It's like one of those, like, pompadour kind of deals. Pansear is alright. I'll probably put it into B tier. Simisear, I don't know. Don't really feel much about Simisear. Panpour I liked. Not any more than Pansear. I do like it. But Simipour, it's just whatever. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna retcon my choice. I'm gonna put Simisage into C tier. I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't care for it too much. We have Munna and Musharna, which these ones are both psychic types. And it's cool about Munna that in Generation 1, there was a trainer outside of the rock tunnel that said that they wished that there was a Pokemon with floral patterns on it. Sure enough, we got one. So it like they actually went back and read the dialogue of it and are like, you know what? I think I'm gonna make a Pokemon on this, and that's what they did. But I don't care for them. Although they were pivotal to having Dream World, which was like one of my favorite features of Gen 5. But that's really it. I have to put Munna and Musharna into D tier. They're just, I don't care for them at all. Now we have our birds. We have just the basic birds of the generation, which are Pidove, Tranquil, and Unpheasant. As you can see, there are two Unpheasants. One is female, one is male. So it's kind of like with birds in real life that there's male and female counterparts of some birds. If not all of them. I think it's just some birds. But I'm not the most cultured on birds and bird law, so forgive me for my ignorance. Yeah, but these are probably the dumbest birds, in my opinion. I don't care for any of them, like, at all. But I do get what they're trying to go for with it, at least within the world of Unova, because Unova is based off of America, especially, like, New York with Castelia City. So having the pigeons are, like...
Hey, look, a flying red!
It's, like, arbitrary, really. But... yeah, we're gonna throw Pidove. I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate it. But I don't like it. So I'm gonna put Pidove into D tier. Honestly, all of them are going into D tier. I don't care for any of them at all. Now we've gotten into our electric types. So we have Blitzel and we have Zebstrika. Which, Zebstrika is a mother and a half to battle. Like, I feel like that it's so well-rounded with his moves. Blitzel, I never... really feel like I delved into battling too much. I feel like that I ended up fighting a lot more Zebstrikas. Seemed like more trainers had that on their team than Blitzel. But that doesn't mean that Blitzel isn't good, because it is good. I do like it. I'd probably put Blitzel into B tier. But Zebstrika, I'd probably put into A tier. I do like Zebstrika quite a bit. Now we have our rock typings, our Geodude equivalents. So we have Roggenrola, we have Boldore, and we have Sigilyph. I mentioned a couple times, but Roggenrola was the very first Pokemon that I ever found that had Pokerest on it. Just naturally had Pokerest on it. And I think for that reason, I kept it on the team. Even though they were slow as hell, like, I really liked using the Roggenrola line. I would have to put, well, but Roggenrola kind of looks like a butthole. I feel neutral about Roggenrola. Boldore, I'd feel about the same, honestly. But Sigilyph was really cool. Design-wise, usage-wise, I really, really like Sigilyph, and that's going to be our first S-rank Pokemon is Sigilyph. Our next Pokemon that are on here are our Zubat equivalents, which are Woobat and Swoobat. Very original, Game Freak. I think I might have used Swoobat once. Yeah, I used it in Sword and Shield, actually. I don't know why, I just ended up using it. I think it's because I never used one before. But, yeah, they're fine. I mean, Psychic types are always appreciated. But, other than that, I'd probably put Woobat into C tier. Swoobat, I'd probably put into C tier as well. Okay, so now we have Drillbur and Excadrill, which Drillbur is a ground type, Excadrill is ground steel. From what I've seen, people really, really like using Excadrill in these games because you could just use it as like a single run kind of thing. Like, it's a single Pokemon playthrough, you could just play the whole thing with Excadrill from what I've heard. And so... I do like the design of Excadrill. Drillbur, I'm kind of neutral about it, so I'll throw it into C tier. But Excadrill is freaking awesome. Like, I really like Excadrill's typing. I like its design. Everything about it's really good. I did use it recently on one of my playthroughs. I don't remember if it was a Nuzlocke or if it was just a regular playthrough, but I remember wanting to use Excadrill, and it was great. S tier, for sure. Remember how I said earlier where I didn't know if there was Mega Evolutions and I can't remember? Now I remember. Audino, I believe, is the only Pokemon in this generation to have a Mega Evolution, and I don't know why. Because Audino, it's our Chansey of the generation. It's basically the Pokemon they'd use for high HP and easy experience. And you could only encounter them in Shaking Grass, which is more of like the challenge battles, I guess, or more difficult battles in the area. But Audino, I don't know why they did it. Okay, so Audino, I'd probably throw in a D tier. Mega Audino, it looks stupid too. I don't like Mega Audino. I throw it in F tier. Yeah, I just don't like it. It's dumb. But anyways, we got our Machop line next, which is Timber, Girder, and Conkeldurr. I don't care for really the first two. I don't know. Timber, I kind of like a little bit more than Girder. I'd probably throw Timber into C. Girder, I'm gonna throw in D tier. But Conkeldurr I do like quite a bit. I think it's mainly because Girder and Conkeldurr have the same nose as me. Like, they have giant schnoz. I will throw Conkeldurr in A tier. I do like it. It's pretty strong. Okay, so now we have our Poliwag equivalent. I feel like I'm going to be comparing it a lot to Gen 1 because that's really all I'm given at this point. So we have Tympole, Palpitoad, and Seismitoad. And I don't really care too much for the first two, kind of like the Girder or the Timber line. But Seismitoad was awesome. Even it's a water ground type, which again you can't go wrong with, like Swampert and Quagsire. So I'd probably throw Tympole into... I'd probably throw into D. Seismitoad I'll probably throw into D... Or, sorry, Palpitoad. But Seismitoad I'd probably throw into B tier. I do like it. I guess these would be considered our Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee counterparts, which are Throw and Sock. I've heard that they're really good, and every time I battle on them, especially on Sock, it's kind of a challenge. I never bothered using them because they're single stage. They kind of remind me of Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street. So, I'll throw them in a C tier. It's whatever. Actually, no, I do remember using Throw in my very first playthrough of White. I'm very sure that I used Throw. Would you I guess I consider this the Bellsprout equivalent? We have Sewaddle, we have Swadloon, and we have Leavanny. Which, I don't recall if I used them, but I remember really, really liking Leavanny, and I remember thinking that it was pretty tough to fight against if you don't have a Flying or Fire type. But you most likely do, so battling them is not that bad, I guess. So, I don't know what I was talking about. Sewaddle, I feel indifferent about it. C tier. Swadloon, don't care for it too much. But Leavanny, I do like. I'm going to throw that into B tier. Now, we have a Bug Poison line. We have the Venipede, Whirlipede, Scolipede line. Which, I remember, I think I used a Scolipede later on, but then I had to get rid of it for whatever reason. But Venipede, I feel neutral about. Whirlipede, I feel about the same, honestly. Like, I don't hate it. Like, it's just neutral. But Scolipede was freaking awesome. I really, really like Scolipede. I'll probably throw that into S tier. We have two sets of Pokemon where they're both, like, two-stage grass types. So we have Cottony and Whimsicott. And then we have Petlil and Lilligant. Which I believe that these ones were version exclusives to the respective games. So Cottony, which I feel like every time I pull a card of Cottony on my streams, which you could link down below, I feel like I call it Cottony Joe because it reminds me of Cotton Eye Joe. But I don't really think too much about Cottony other than that, so I'll probably throw it into C. Whimsicott, honestly, I don't care for, really. It's just whatever. I'll probably throw Whimsicott into C tier as well. Petlil, I feel about the same as the other three. But Lilligant? Oh no, I just realized I didn't have Hisui and Lilligant in here. Shit. Yeah, I had to go back and make sure that I have the Hisui and Lilligant added on here. I don't want to edit and post like I did with Pineco on the Gen 2 video. So yeah, Lilligant and Hisui and Lilligant. I love Unova and Lilligant. I remember, I don't know, I think I might have used it at one point, but I remember the card was really good for it around, like, in the early sets of Black and White. I remember the cards were really, really good. but they weren't like the EX and anything like that. They're just standard cards, but they didn't take that much energy cards, and they were very, very strong. So, yeah, shout out to Lilligant. I throw Lilligant into S tier. Hisuian Lilligant is grass fighting. It was introduced, I mean, of course, with Legends Arceus, and it was one of the boss Pokemon. I forget what they call them, honestly, at this point. I kind of forget. But, noble Pokemon. Yeah, they're one of the nobles. And I like it, but it's not, like, my favorite. I'd probably put it into C tier, really. But I do like that they gave it more, like, variety in its design, I guess. Okay, so you're going to see 3 fish right over here. These are Basculin. So, introduced in black and white were red and blue. This one over here is a Hisuian Basculin, which you could barely tell the difference. I don't know why they did it like that. But honestly, I don't care for Basculin in the slightest. They just, I don't know, they're just, I don't know, I think they're like supposed to be like piranhas. I don't know. I throw them in F tier. I don't care for Basculin at all. But it does get an evolution in Legends as well. It gets Basculegion, which I'll talk in the Gen 8 video. Yeah, next up, we have Sandile, Krokorok, and Krookodile, which are ground types, and then they become ground dark. Sandile, I think, is pretty good. I'd probably throw Sandile into B. Krokorok, I'm probably the most neutral about. It's just one of those mid-stage awkward phases. But Krookodile, so good. I'm pretty sure its ability is Moxie, if I remember correctly. Now, here's the one I wanted to talk about. So we have Darumaka, we have its Galar counterpart, we have Darmanitin, Zen mode, Galar Darmanitin, and its respective Zen mode. I remember being stuck on battling Berg at the Castelia gym, or maybe I just wanted to have a fire type because I knew he was a bug type gym leader. And so in Route 4, the one above Castelia, they have a little area where you can find some ground types like Sandile, but then also you could possibly get Darumaka. So I ended up getting Darumaka thinking, oh yeah, it's a fire type, I'll just use it and then get rid of it. Turns out it swept everything. It destroyed everything there. And I was like, you know what, maybe I'll keep it. And then it evolved to Darmanitin, and the ones that you catch over there have the Sheer Force ability. So it was just a powerhouse. It just knocked the shit out of everything, really. And also, it's like its attack is really high and its speed is really high. I mean, yeah, its other stats aren't that great, but it is very, very strong. It's an orangutan, which is my favorite animal of all time. And after how good it was, I kind of ended up loving it. And as of right now, Unova and Darmanitin is my favorite Pokemon of all time. It is my #1 Pokemon ever. So it finally, I finally found a Pokemon that I liked more than Quilava. So yeah, Darumaka, I'm throwing to S tier. Darmanitin, goes without saying for me, it's S tier. And the Zen mode, I never had a Zen mode Darmanitin until, well, you don't really get it until post-game anyways, but I never bothered using it, especially, when its, ability only kicks in when you're half health, and then everything flips around, so, you kind of have to rely on it, being weak to use a Zen mode. So, I'd probably throw the Zen mode Darmanitin to A. But then we have the Galar forms, which Galar Darumaka is cute. And also, here's a thing that I've been conflicted about the whole time with the Galar Darumaka line, is that Ice types are my favorite, and Darmanitin is my favorite Pokemon. But its design is so dumb. It's just very, very dumb design. So, Galar Darumaka, I'd probably throw into A tier. Galar Darmanitin, I'm sorry, but I'll probably have to put into A tier as well. But Zen mode, Galar Darmanitin, that looked really cool. It's like a burning, like a burning snowman, basically. It's fire ice type, I believe, when it turns Zen mode, instead of being pure ice. So I'll have to throw that Zen mode one into S tier. That one is sick as hell. Sick as hell. We have Maractus, I guess. Why? It's just it's just it's the equivalent. I mean, yeah, I get it for the atmosphere of being in the desert, but it's the equivalent of Carnivine. Just why? So now we have Dwebble and Crustle, which are bug rock types. I never thought too much about them. I didn't hate them really, but yeah, like Dwebble I'll probably put in D tier. Crustle I'll probably put in the C tier. It's fine. So now we got Scraggy and we got Scrafty, which are my buddy Greg's favorite Pokemon. And he also started streaming, so shout out to Greg's Games. His link is down below too, so make sure you go follow him. Plugs, shameless plugs and all that. But yeah, so Scraggy and Scrafty, they are fighting dark types, and they are really, really, really good Pokemon. Like, they're very strong. To be fair, I didn't really use one until way later on. I think it's mainly because of how much Greg talked highly of them. But they ended up being great. I'd probably, honestly, like, even without his opinion, I'd probably be putting them into S tier anyways, because their pants is kind of funny, like pants lizards. So now we got Sigilyph, which is a psychic flying type, which, again, for atmosphere, but it's redundant because we already had Woobat and Swoobat, which are psychic flying. So Sigilyph, D tier. So now we have Yamask, Galarian Yamask, and Cofagrigus. I didn't care for really any of them. I mean, they're ghost types, which is nice, which we don't really get too many ghost types. I don't know. They just didn't really do much for me, other than the story of the Yamask, like the mask that it has. That's kind of morbid, but other than that, yeah, they're whatever to me. Galarian Yamask, I probably put the same because they're very similar already, which Galarian Yamask does not evolve into Cofagrigus. It has its own evolution in Sword and Shield, Runegrigus, which I'll, of course, talk about when that video comes around. Cofagrigus, I'd probably put into B tier. I do like it, but it's not one of my favorites. So now we have our fossil Pokemon. So we have Tortuga and Caracosta, and then we have Arcan and Archeops, which the first two are Water Rock. The second two are Rock Flying. I don't know. I don't feel anything towards the first two. I'd probably put Tortuga into D. Caracosta I'd probably put in the C tier. But Arcan and Archeops, like, Arcan is fine. I'd probably put in the C tier, but Archeops was really cool. I do like Archeops quite a bit. I'd probably throw Archeops into A tier. I do like its color scheme as well. I like how bright and colorful it is. Now we have our Grimer equivalent, or Coughing equivalent, however you want to go about it. But yeah, Trubbish and Garbodor, and then Garbodor's Gigantamax form as well. I thought it was Garbodor when I first saw it, but then I saw the Black and White episode, which I think might have been the last episode I watched. But yeah, they were calling it Garbodor, and I was like, that makes sense, because garbage, odor, Garbodor. But yeah, Trubbish, it's trash. In a literal sense, not in a... yeah, not in a metaphorical sense, I guess. But Trubbish I'll probably put into C. I don't really care either way about it. Garbodor I do like, but yeah, I probably put into B tier. The Gigantamax Garbodor, I probably put into C tier. I don't think anything of it. It's just neutral. So now we have Pokemon that have been hyped up quite a bit. That this is pretty much Gen 5's equivalent to like Lucario. Though we have Zorua, we have Zoroark, and their Hisuian counterparts. So I never used one. I never used one in any of my playthroughs. But I never disliked them. They're just two-stage Pokemon weren't really something I'd instinctively go to. But I do like them. I mean, I put Zorua into B. I throw Zoroark into A. But then we have the Hisuian forms, which I thought were way better. I believe I did end up catching a shiny. I have shinies for both of them actually. Hisuian Zorua and Hisuian Zoroark. So, for those ones, Zorua, I'd probably put in A tier. Hisuian Zoroark, I'd probably throw in A tier as well. I remember the advertisements, or not the advertisements, like the PR campaign or the hype campaign they had for these Pokemon was really cool. Useless Pokemon, Minccino and Cinccino. Why? They are... And also, why are they so late in the Pokedex as well? I don't care for these Pokemon at all. They're just more fodder. They could have just gotten rid of these and nobody would have blinked an eye. But I mean, every Pokemon's someone's favorite, but I don't care for it at all. So now we have two different 3-stage pure psychic types, which are version exclusives, which I don't know why they did double up on them, But here we are. It's kind of like the Abra lines, I guess. So we have Gothita, Gotharita, and Gothitelle. Then we have Solosis, Duosion, and Reuniclus. I didn't really care too much for Gothita or Gotharita. They're just kind of, I don't know. Gothita I'd probably put in the D. Gotharita I'd put in the C. Gothitelle, though, I do really like. Gothitelle I'd probably put in the A tier. Then we have Solosis, Duosion, Reuniclus, which Solosis I feel neutral about. Duosion I don't care for too much, but Reuniclus I thought was really cool. I'd probably throw Reuniclus into A tier. Now we have our water flying types, which I guess could be compared to like Wingull. So we have Ducklet and we have Swanna, which Ducklet would get perfected upon the release of Quaxley in Scarlet and Violet. No, yeah, I don't care too much for either of them. Although I did think it was funny with the memes about Swanna that it looked like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Yeah, because I think people would call it Carl Swan when the games were about to come out. So Ducklet, I'd probably throw into... I'd throw into D tier. Swanna, I'd throw into C tier. I'm indifferent about it. But now we have, honestly, I think in the whole list, probably the most controversial Pokemon, or at least Pokemon line. We have Vanillite, Vanillish, and Vanillux. And when I say controversial, I mean people were discussing these ones like crazy. And people use this Pokemon line as one of the benchmarks for, oh, Pokemon's run out of ideals. They're just using real-life objects. Well, guess what? In Generation 1, they had just a freaking Pokeball as a Pokemon. It's just a circle. They had a bird. It's just Pidgey. They had a Pokemon named Seal, which was literally just a seal. Like, there's been bad ideas in all generations, but people use this because it's a more recent generation. So, honestly, they could kick rocks about it. But that being said, they are still fine. Like, I don't dislike them at all. I mean, Vanillite, I feel like is kind of the weakest of the three because it's just very, very minimal. But they're ice type, so I mean, I have a little bit of a bias. But I would probably put Vanillite into C tier. I'd put Vanillish probably into C tier as well. Like, I'm indifferent about them, but I don't hate them like everybody else does. I feel like it's like they're overhated. But Vanillux, I'm going to throw in A tier. I do like it. It's very strong. And also, ice types already have stolen my heart. But, yeah, people are just being haters because, I don't know, it's cool to hate later generations that aren't Gen 1. There's a lot of these. I don't know why I put all of the variants, but here we are. So we have the Deerlings, and we have the Sawsbucks. In Generation 5, they introduced seasons into the game. So every month it would change from spring, summer, fall, winter. And so they made Pokemon with respective form for each season, as you can see over here. They are, I believe they're normal grass. I don't care for any of them, really. Well, I mean, I think some of the Sawsbucks are cool. And I do find it frustrating that they kind of got rid of them in, like, up through Gen 8. But from what I saw in Generation 9, that they are having the Sawsbucks come back, like, at least the seasonal forms coming back. But it doesn't seem like that they're seasons itself. It seems like that they're relegated to biomes, at least from what we know. Deerlings, whatever. D tier. I don't care for them at all. Or whatever. All of them, because, like, there's not really anything different about them other than the color of it. Sawsbuck, I believe it's spring, summer, autumn, winter. Spring form, I'd probably put into D tier. Summer form, I feel like is the most iconic. I feel like it's one that they use the most. Probably put that into C tier. Autumn form, I like it. I think just as much as summer. But the winter form is probably my favorite. But I still feel neutral about them. Okay, so now we got our Pikachu knockoff, which is Emoga. Which they are very annoying to fight in the games. They're very, very annoying. They're electric flying types. And I think they're based off sugar gliders, I'm pretty sure. I never really cared for Emoga. I think it's one of my least favorite of the Pikachu knockoffs. I'd probably throw it into D tier. I just don't care for it, really. So, now we have Carablast and Escavalier, which are related to Pokemon that we'll see later on, Shellmet and Selgore. So, how that worked, how they're related, is that, as you can see, that Shellmet and Escavalier look one and the same, and Carablast and Selgore are, I guess, kind of supposed to be related. They don't look anything alike, in my opinion. But the way that you get them to evolve is that you have to trade them with another person, and they have to have the opposite Pokemon. So one person has a Karrablast, one person has a Shellmet, you trade them, and then they evolve. Which I think is really, really cool in theory, but it's just so weird to see them with, like, that, like, evolution where it's, like, opposite of the other. I don't know, it's very, very strange. But, I mean, I guess they do whatever to shake up the formula, I guess. So, Karrablast, I'd probably throw into D tier. I don't really care for it at all. Escavalier, though, I thought was really cool. I'm throwing Escavalier into A tier. It is Bug Steel type, however, so it has a giant weakness to fire. But from what I've seen, it's very strong. Even though I've never used one myself, I've heard it's very strong. So, now we have Fungus and Amungus. And now when I hear Amungus, I just think of the shitty Among Us memes. So, yeah, these Pokemon are also, they have Pokeballs on them, like Voltorb and Electrode. And so when you encounter them, I mean, you could encounter them in the grass in their original games, but you could also encounter them by, there'll be like the Pokeballs, like the items. They could be a Fungus or a Amungus depending on where you're at. I think they're kind of dumb. So we have Frillish and we have Jellicent, which they have the female and male counterparts. They're Water Ghost type, which is kind of cool. I don't really feel too much though for them. I guess I'm kind of indifferent. Yeah, but then Jellicent female, I don't care for, like, at all. But Jellicent male kind of reminds me of the Pringles man. So I'm going to throw that into B tier. Speaking of useless Pokemon, Alomomola. It looks like it could be related to Love Disc, but it's not. And it's so stupid that it isn't. It's just a single stage water type that does nothing for any of this. This is probably one of the stupidest Pokemon they've ever introduced. F tier. It's dog shit. I hate it. We have a bug electric type. It's a two-stage Pokemon. We have Joltik and we have Galvantula. Which Joltik, I believe, is currently the smallest Pokemon physically in the games. And I think they're cute as shit. I'm throwing Joltik in A tier. Galvantula I do like as well. I never used one, but I really do like its design and its typing. I'm going to throw Galvantula into A tier as well. Okay, so now we have Ferroseed and Ferrothorn, which are basically this game's Pineco and Fortress. I do like them. I heard that Ferrothorn is really, really good, but also it has a glaring weakness to fire type, so I wouldn't really use it. And also it's a defensive type when I'm more of an offensive. I'd probably put Ferroseed into C tier. C tier. And then Ferrothorn I would put into... I'd probably put into B tier. Next we have Kling, Clang, and Kling Clang. Yes, those are their names. I do kind of like that, like, as they evolve, they get more pieces, and then the names are built into, like, the Pokemon. Like, they have, like, one piece to Kling, they have the Clang, and then it combines, it makes the bigger piece, which is Kling Clang. I like that concept. Have I used them? No. Will I use them? I don't know, maybe. But, Kling, I would probably throw into D tier, though. I don't really care for it that much. Clang, I'd probably feel the same way. But Kling Clang, I do appreciate. I'd throw in a B tier. So now we have Tynamo, Electric, and Electros. Yes, those, they're all related to Tynamo, even though Tynamo looks nothing like the other ones other than the mouth. Tynamo, let's just get it out there, it looks like a sperm. I don't know. It's just, it looks more like a tadpole to me, honestly, but, like, people call it a sperm all the time. But, anyways, we are going to throw Tynamo into... I'll throw it into Electric. Actually, no, let's throw it into C tier. Electric we'll throw it into D tier. But Electros, which, fun fact about it, it is one of the few Pokemon that have no weaknesses technically. Because it's a pure electric type, but has the ability Levitate. So, that basically gets rid of its other weakness, or its only weakness, let's say, which is ground type. So, yeah, it is immune to everything, essentially. Or it is, yeah, it only takes neutral or not very effective damage. I'd throw Electros into A tier. Definitely. I do like Electros. So now we have Lgm and Bgm, which are probably some of the more overlooked Pokemon, I feel like. They're pure Psychic types, they're two-stage, but also there's so many Psychic types that you could choose from, and they're so weak compared to the others that it's almost like, why use them, almost? I mean, they're cool looking, but that's pretty much all they got. I will throw Lgm into C tier. Bgm I'll throw into C tier as well. I'm kind of whatever about. So now we have Ghost Fire typings, which are Litwick, Lampent, and Chandelure, which, I don't know if I mentioned it on the Babblers episodes, but I remember back in the day, I had the shiny charm and everything, right? Well, actually, no, I was doing this in, I think I was doing this in regular black and white. This was before the shiny charm. I spent at least 52 hours, at least recorded for me, 52 hours looking for a shiny Litwick, and I had no luck. And because Chandelure, shiny Chandelure, is my favorite shiny Pokemon of all time. So I spent so long trying to find it, and I never got it. But then way later in, I think in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I did end up hatching one. I used the Masuda method, I had the shiny charm and everything, and I was able to hatch one. It took a little bit, but I finally got it. So after that, though, they had, in Sword and Shield, they had the dens, like the den events, which you could have gotten a shiny Chandelure, which, for me, like, the stars aligned, so I also caught one in there, too. So I have 2 shiny Chandelures, which makes me very happy. And I also, objectively, the Pokemon are really good, too. Like, Ghost Fire types, they have really good special attack. They're great. I love it. And I guess that these are equivalents of, like, the Ghastly line, I want to say. But, yeah, I'd throw Litwick in S tier. Lampent, I'll throw into A tier. But Chandelure, easily S tier. This is one of my favorite Gen 5 Pokemon. Okay, so now we have our dragons for the generation, which, depending on how you feel about it, could be considered some pseudo-legendaries. I consider them pseudo-legendaries, even though they're not right, like the Pokemon right behind the legendaries. I consider them pseudos. So, yeah, we have Axew, we have Fracture, and we have Haxorus, which I like Axew and I like Haxorus. Fracture, I'm whatever about. So, Axew, I'd probably throw into A tier? No, S tier. Let's go to S tier. Fracture, I'd definitely throw into B tier. I think it's good, but it doesn't really stand out. And then Haxorus, of course, is S tier. Like, that's no question. Haxorus is great. And also the fact that they allowed you to catch a shiny Haxorus in Black 2 after completing the Univadex, that was so dope. Okay, so now we have more Ice types, which for me is always a treat because Ice types are always underrepresented in pretty much every game. So we have Cubchoo, we have Beartic. I don't recall using them, though, but I do like their designs. I think Cubchoo is kind of cute. I throw Cubchoo into B. I throw Beartic probably in the B tier as well. I do like both of them. And also, I mean, Ice types, come on. So then we have Criagonal, which this Pokemon was kind of hard to come by because it was only in one certain area. And most times out of the year, you'd only have a 1% chance of finding them unless it was wintertime. And then you get maybe a 4% chance. And even then, it's just a single stage, just Ice type. So it's kind of like nothing to write home about. I do wish that it had multiple forms of it looking like different types of snowflakes because there's like billions and billions and billions of like different types of snowflakes. So that'd be cool for it to have cool variety. I would throw Criagonal into C tier though. So now we have gone to Shellmet and a Selgore, which Shellmet, I guess I kind of like a little bit more than Carablast, but that's only by a little bit. Selgore though was pretty cool. Very, very good speed from what I've heard. I'd probably put a Selgore into A tier. So next up, I wish I didn't have to talk about these. So, Stunfisk is the worst Pokemon of all time. I don't care if it's your favorite, you're wrong. They are putrid, disgusting, vile monsters. Stunfisk is a Pokemon that looks like it could be a water type because it's thrown into water. It's not water type. It's ground electric. Its cry sounds like constipated shit. It looks like shit. It plays like shit. It's just the troll Pokemon, and it's disgusting. Like, I hate the fact that they introduce this, and I hate that I know that it exists. It's the worst. I'll put it out there, Stunfisk is fucking disgusting, and I'm sorry if you have any semblance of liking it. That's why I made its own tier. That's below everything else, because it is just on a level of its own of just mediocrity. Galarian Stunfisk is no better. It's Steel type. I don't remember if it's Steel Ground. I really don't care to look it up. And these ones work like... they work like a bear trap, I guess. So when you're playing in Sword and Shield, there's certain, like, caves that you could walk into, and you could possibly step on one, because when it's closed up, it looks like it has a Pokeball for its mouth. And so when it clamps on you, then you're forced into battle with one of these disgusting creatures. Disgusting! Yeah, I don't ever want to talk about Stunfisk ever again. And if I ever see a card for Stunfisk, I rip it up. I don't... Ugh, gross. But, yeah, moving on from there, we have Mienfoo and Mienshao, which are also Pokemon I feel like that get a little bit overlooked. They're fighting types, and Mienshao is friggin' strong. Like, every time that I've encountered a Mienshao, there's always been some kind of difficulty to it. Mienfoo, I'm indifferent about. Mienshao I do like, but not as much as, like, other Pokemon. Okay, so now we have a single-stage Dragon type, which I can't remember if they ever did that before. I don't think they ever have. But it's Druddigon, and it has wings or wing-looking things, but it's not flying type. It's just pure Dragon. And it has rough skin for its abilities, so it's like you can still hit it with ground-type moves. It is... I really don't care for Druddigon all that much. It's... I don't care for it. I'm going to throw it into D tier. So now we have Golet and Golurk, which are ground ghost types. And they look so cool. I love the designs, especially Golurk. It is one of the coolest looking Pokemon of this generation. But its speed is so bad. It is one of the slowest Pokemon ever. And I hate the fact that it's slow because I wanted to use it, but it was so slow that I just couldn't get it to work. And I didn't know anything about strategy back then, so I didn't bother to like give it like items or whatever training shit. But yeah, Golet I'd throw into A tier. Golurk I'd still throw into S tier though. Its design is just impeccable. It's top notch. And also it could learn Fly, which is weird. Like, I didn't know why I could learn Fly, but then I saw in the anime like it has like jetpacks on its feet, which are freaking awesome. It's so sick. Anyways, we have Poniard and we have Bisharp, which are Pokemon that, like, I hate using the comparison like, oh, they look like Digimon. It looks like Digimon. Bisharp looks like a Digimon. It looks like it could be related to Omnimon or something like that. But that doesn't mean I dislike it. I do like them. And also I use it as my false swiper for shiny hunting. So I do like them. They just don't look like Pokemon. I throw Poniard into B tier. Bisharp, I'd probably throw into... I'd throw into A tier. Bouffalant. This is basically our version of... is Generation 5's version of Miltank. Why am I saying R? It's not like I didn't make it. But, yeah, this is Generation 5's version of Miltank, essentially. Or Tauros, if you want to call it that. Yeah, it's Miltank or Tauros. It's cattle. I like the Afro. And also, it's a very, very strong Pokemon, too. But other than that, I'm whatever about it. It's just a one-stage Pokemon. So now we have Rufflet, and we have Braviary, and its Hisuian form. So, back in the early days of, like, before Black and White came out, we saw the design of it, and people call... Well, its Japanese name is Wargle, which is an amalgamation of War and Eagle, which it looks like Murica Pokemon. It's a bald eagle. It's Murica, freedom, rock, flag, and eagle, you know? So, Rufflet, I'd probably throw into C tier. I'm whatever about it. But Braviary was freaking awesome. It was so strong. I really, really liked using Braviary. I definitely had it on my team because of the whole Wargle meme. Yeah, Braviary is definitely an S tier Pokemon. One of my favorite bird Pokemon too. Hisuian Braviary, I didn't use it. I do have a shiny one though. Or I have a shiny Rufflet at least that needs to evolve to Hisuian Braviary. But, yeah, I do like it. Just not as much. I'd probably throw Hisuian Braviary into A tier. So then we have the other counterpart because they're version exclusive birds, which you didn't get till later in the game as well, which are Volibee and Mandibuzz. And they're dark flying types. I didn't have black version. I had white, and so that's why I got Braviary. I probably wouldn't have used either of them. I don't know, they look kind of ugly. I'd probably throw them, though, into... I'd throw Volibee into D tier. Mandibuzz I'd probably throw into D tier. I don't care for them, really. So, now we have two other counterparts, which are single stages. We have Heatmor and we have Durant. And, yeah, it's an Anteater and an Ants. And so, Durant is a Bug Steel type, so it's as weak as possible against Heatmor. But people tend to forget about Heatmore because of how freaking good Durant is. That people use it in competitive battling from what I've seen all the time, or with using in the Battle Mason on X and Y, is that Durant is one of those Pokemon that is like a mainstay now. Which is very weird because like I wouldn't have thought anything about it. But then I remember about all the times that I've battled Durant and I'm getting my ass kicked by them. Like in the playthrough, like in the main playthrough, not even like competitive or anything. But Heatmore, I would throw into C tier. I'm whatever about it. Durant, I would actually throw into A tier. It's not one of my favorite Pokemon because it's just a pest, but it's a lot better, like, in hindsight now, more that I think about it. So next up, we have the next line of dragons, which are some official pseudo-legendary Pokemon, which are their Dark Dragon types. There's Dano, Zweilous, and Hydreigon, which are based on Ein, Zwei, and Drei, which are 1, 2, 3, because of the amount of heads that it has. So we have Dano over here, which I found okay. Like, I didn't like it as much as the other ones, so I'd probably throw into B tier. Zweilous, I'd probably throw Zweilous into A tier, I guess. Actually, no, I throw into B tier. It's about the same. But also, it's crazy on how high of a level you need to have them to get to Hydreigon. It's like it's a very, very astronomically high level for them to get to Hydreigon. I think it's like level
64,
I want to say. But it is so worth the payoff for it. It is such a strong Pokemon. Its move pool is great. Its design is awesome. It's one of the best Pokemon that they've ever introduced, in my opinion. Hydreigon, easily it is an S-tier Pokemon. That's no doubt. Okay, so now we've gotten to what some people would consider... Well, I would consider it a pseudo-legendary. I don't think that they're actually officially legendary Pokemon, but you don't get them till later in the game, and then you encounter Volcarona and a static encounter. But yeah, Larvesta, Volcarona, they're bug fire types. And yeah, they have a glaring weakness to rock types, but I really like their designs. I think that they're pretty strong too. I do like having them. I never used it because I don't know. It was just so far in the game that I didn't have a reason to have them on the team. But I really, really, really like them. So I'm going to throw Larvesta into... Well, actually, no, I'll throw Larvesta into B tier, but Volcarona is definitely S tier. That's no doubt. So now we are getting into the Legendaries. We have the first three Swords of Justice. We have Cobalion, we have Terrakion, and we have Virizion. Which, Cobalion is like the leader of the Swords of Justice. It's a fighting steel type. Terrakion is rock fighting type. Then Virizion is grass fighting. Which, I mean, out of the three, Cobalion was my favorite. I don't know, I think it's just because it was the leader. I like their designs, at least for the first two. Virizion, I thought was okay, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like I struggled to catch it, and so I have a little bit of bitterness towards it. But Cobalion, I would throw into S tier. Terrakion, I would throw into probably S tier as well. No, I throw Terrakion into A tier. Virizion, I would throw into B tier. We have the first two of the Kami trio. Well, now Quadvecta. So we have Tornadus and we have Thundurus, and the respective Therian forms. And so, on its own, Tornadus and Thundurus, just regular forms, they're so samey. As legendaries, it just makes no sense to make them like this. Because it seemed like that they knew they were going to announce the Therian forms. And so they just had them as placeholders, essentially. I'm going to put Tornadus and Thundurus into D tier, just purely on design. But the Therian forms, I'm for sure going to throw into at least B tier. Okay, so now we have the box legendaries. We have Reshiram and we have Zekrom. Which, Reshiram's Dragon Fire, Zekrom is Electric Dragon, and they are both fucking awesome. They're first shown, I think, at the Macy's Day Parade. They were shown, they had the big floats for them. And yeah, that was like... Because I don't watch, like, that kind of stuff. Like, I don't care for holidays in general. But I did tune in for that because I wanted to see it. Like, they were making a big deal about it. I was like, oh my god, we're going to see them. We're going to see them. And, yeah, they are really, really good Pokemon. They're super strong. They have great typing. Everything about it's awesome. I would easily throw them into S tier. They're some of the best legendaries we've seen. So now we have the third of the Kami trio, or Quadvecta, which is Landorus. Landorus is a ground flying type. I'm going to throw it into D tier. Also, I forgot to mention that Tornadus is the first pure flying type ever, which is strange. Like, pure flying. And then Thundurus is electric flying, so whatever. Therian form, Landorus. I'd probably throw it in C tier. I'm whatever about it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to retcon my decision. Therian Tornadus is going into C tier. But yeah, I'm keeping Thundurus up there. That's sick. Okay, so now we have the unsung legendary, which is Qrem. Well, at least until Black 2, White 2. So Qrem, Dragon Ice type, which, of course, for me, Ice types, of course, 2 thumbs up. Design-wise, I think it's great. I do like that it was shrouded in mystery in the first game. It's like, okay, there's just a random legendary. Like, what's it about? And then they delved into it in the next games. So I'm going to throw Qrem into S tier. It's definitely a great one. But now we have, because it got merged with
Qrem
or Reshiram, depending on your version, you have White Qrem and Black Qrem, which I think both designs are awesome. I do like Black Qrem more, but they're both great. And I like that they kind of like are spliced together like that. It reminds me of the Venus stories in the anime. So we're going to throw that in S tier, then S tier. So now we have the 4th Sword of Justice, which is Keldeo, and it's Resolute. It is a water fighting type, and it's so whatever to me. I do not care for it at all, and it's really annoying in its movie. I'm going to throw them into D tier. I don't care for it at all. So now we have the next mythical, which is Melowetta, the Aria and Pirouette form, which are Psychic Normal and Fighting Normal, I believe. And these ones are okay. I still don't care for them as much as the other mythicals. I'm going to throw them into C. I'm just indifferent. But then last but not least, last Pokemon in Gen 5 is Genesect, which is a Bug Steel, I believe. Yeah, Bug Steel type. And it is one of the few man-made Pokemon. So this is basically our equivalent to Mewtwo. And it is so freaking awesome. I really, really like Genesect, and I pray that they delve more onto it, but they just haven't. And it's such an upset that they haven't done anything with Genesect. Like, they do a million things for Mewtwo, but nothing for Genesect, which is a shame. Like, they really need to give it more credit. Throw it into S tier, definitely. But, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the whole Gen 5 tier list. So I am going to scroll through them again so we can just take a look at all of it and marvel at my perfect list. No, but if you do want to make your own list of this, I have a link down below for the list that I made. And so, yeah, you could send that to me on my socials. Those links are down below as well, which I don't really use, but I will see it if you guys post it, which nobody has so far. But, yeah. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, or if you want to tell me what you think, leave a comment. Also, I stream a lot on Twitch, so I'm mainly over there. If you want to check me out, the link is down below for that too. Also, check out my buddies Bono and Greg. Well, Bono's been doing YouTube lately. He's been posting a lot of videos on YouTube of shiny hunting in Legends Arceus. Then Greg started streaming. He's doing this thing where it's basically going to like the A to Z challenge is what he's calling it. Is that he's going through his whole Steam library each stream and going through a different game, at least for a couple hours. If he likes it, he'll continue. If not, he'll stop. And so I thought that was really cool. So go ahead and follow to him if you have Twitch. But, yeah, with all that being said, you guys have a good one. Take care.